Welcome to the Data Hall YouTube channel. In our previous two videos, we have discussed how do we import and export a CSV file, but sometimes we get our data in an Excel format. And in this video, we are going to look into how do we import an Excel file or export an Excel file, right? So instead of CSV, we are going to focus on Excel. Now, in this video, we are going to work with this readxl package, which is used to import data from an Excel file. So if you haven't installed it, you would use install.packages and the name of package. But in my case, I have already installed it. I would just load this package in my environment. So firstly, whenever you load a package and you want to look into what different function that package holds, so you write the name of the package and then you put double in colon, and that would give you all the functions that are coming from that specific package. So in this case, you can see that all these functions are coming from readxl package, and we are particularly interested in read_xl. So we have read_xl, read_xls. There are examples, there is progress, but we are interested in this read_xl function. And we can see that there are different parameters to this read_xl function. And if you wanted to particularly look into this help menu, we could have used the question mark along with the name of the function, and we get the idea. So how does this work? We just write the name of the function, which is read_xl, and then specify the file. So let me show it to you from the folder. I have this example data XLS file. So how do we know it is a Excel file rather than a CSV file? We know it from the extension that we are using, we have over here, and that is xlsx instead of CSV. Similarly, we have this files, a folder by the name of files, and that contains all the files that we would be working with. And there are certain Excel files over here. So how do we import? We write the function name and then specify the name of the file. So currently I am within my working directory, right? So if you aren't in your working directory, you would have to click on sessions and set your working directory to your source folder. That way, the working directory would be set to the folder where this R script is currently present. So let's press Ctrl Enter, and that would load the data. Now, if I can quickly show you another way, if you have a file within a specific folder, then you would specify the folder name, a // and then the name of the file. And remember to have the file name or the path within the inverted commas. Now, if I can show you the Excel file, you can see that we have different sheets over here. We have this full data, then we have a race sheet that contains just the race of the individual, and then we have this skip sheet that also contains the company's logo. So when we imported the file using read_xl function, which sheet did we import it? The first one, the second, or the third? By default, read_xl would always import the first sheet. But if you want to specify another sheet, then you would have to use the sheets parameter. So in this case, I want to import the race sheet. So I would use, after a comma, I would use the sheets parameter, and I would give the argument, the name of the sheet as the argument. So let's press Ctrl Enter, and that data would be saved. Whatever is imported would be saved in this race object, right? So we can see that we just get the race of the individuals, and instead of 5, we have 2 variables. We can also specify the sheet number instead of specifying the sheet. So in this case, again, the second sheet is the race sheet. The third sheet is the sheet by the name of skip, right? And as you can see in the skip sheet, you would see that we have logo over here, right? And if we just import this directly, as I did over here, the third sheet, we can see that the data didn't got imported correctly. The second row should have been the column names. So the workaround is to skip the first two sheets, because we know that the first two sheets contain the logo of the firm and we don't want them to be imported. So we write the skip parameter, and we give the number of rows that we want to skip as an argument. Let's press Ctrl Enter, saved in the skip object, and you can see that it's nicely imported. We can also specify the range. So one way of skipping these two is to start with A3 instead of A2. So instead of starting with A1, start with this A3. And this range is also helpful if we want to limit the data. Instead of importing all these 500 rows, I just want to import 100 rows. So I would use the range, and I would give the cell range again within inverted commas. So that would import 97 rows, that as I have specified. Okay, one thing to note with this this full data is that you see that there are different this 999. So obviously there aren't 999 number of hours in a day. So what this 999 represents is that usually we assign these kind of values to a missing value, right? So when we do not have a value, so to those missing values, we would assign a certain number or certain character. And that is what we did over here in this data, in this first sheet. But we want to, when we import the data, we want to tell R that these are basically the missing values. And when you import them, you have to take care of that. And the way is to use this NA. And within NA, we would specify the missing value that we are using in our data set, right? And once we do that, we get these 999 would be replaced with NA, which in R means missing values. There is another parameter that is called nmax, that represents the maximum number of rows, right, that we want to import. So we would just so the by default parameter for nmax is infinity, so it would import all the rows. Again, we can also not import the column names, and we would set the column names equal to false, and so we get our data without the column names. Remember, we have discussed the code part of this readxl package. If we want to import this Excel file from the menu, we could simply click over here, import data, click from Excel, and then select the file, which is this one. It would also give us the preview of the data. We can change the data types over here, change the name of the sheet that, and also we can import a different sheet from the data, specify the range, maximum, skip, or any values, or whether we want to import this first row as name, which was using this column names, and whether we want to open the data view once we have imported that. You can also copy this code and paste it in your R script, and that would import the data, right? Okay, you can also click on files, and within your working directory, it would show you all the files. And if you want to import, you can click on the file that you want to import, click on import dataset, and that would also bring the same dialog box. So that was how do we import an Excel file, but how do we export that? And the issue with readxl package is that it do not allow us to export the Excel file. So if we have a data over here in our environment and we want to export it, we cannot use readxl package. For that, we would have to use xlsx package. So install it and load it in your data set. So it works somewhat same, and there are somewhat same parameters. The simple idea is you write the write.xlsx function, and then write the name of the data set from your environment that you want to export. After comma, you specify the name of the file that would be created. Press Ctrl Enter, and that file would be created, right? You can also use this readxl2, which also comes from xlsx package. And the only difference between these two is, let me show you the new file that was created using this read.xlsx package. And you can see that all these missing values had been represented by this error term in Excel. I mean, all those values that had NA in R were represented as an error. But the default but what this readxls2 does, it replaces those missing values with an empty value, right? So we do not have any value over here. So it's better to use read.xls2 if you have missing values, or rather it's a good habit to use read.xls2. One way of understanding this is that within read.xls package function, we have this show NA equal to false. And if we do that, this command and this command become equivalent. So readxls2 and xls becomes equivalent. So instead of using this another parameter, why not use readxls2? So I'm going to move forward with readxls2. I'm just going to look into different parameters that they have in this function. We just have we have sheet name, where you can specify what name you want to give to the sheet that would be exported, whether you want to export column names, the row names, whether you want to append into already created Excel file or not. If you specify false, then it would just replace the file. If there is a file by the name of new file Excel, then you can specify a password, and if someone would access that file, it would require a password to be entered. Again, within this xlsx package, we have readxl file function, which is read.xlsx, and the parameters that we have are somewhat similar to and does the same job as we could have done with read_xl package. So if you want to use read.xls function, that would work exactly fine. So we have column index, we have row index, sheet name, starting row, ending row, which would be used as range. But the interesting thing that read_xls do not have is read.xl do not have is that it do not have a password support. So if a file is password protected and you know the password and you want to import it using read_xl package, you wouldn't be able to, but rather using read.xlsx package, you would be able to import that. So I hope that was useful. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to this channel and do hit the bell icon.